Welcome back to Your Milk and Cereal, where we dive into the darkest corners of human nature to uncover the chilling stories that have shocked the world. I'm your host, Ramira Arlulia, and the owner of Your Milk LLC, where I create handcrafted skincare and self-care products. If you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a Saturday upload. Check out the description box below for more details on what I'm creating, and feel free to explore our website while you're there. Now, let's get into today's story. I want you to imagine walking through the front door of your future home for the first time. This house in Frederick, Colorado, spans nearly 6,200 square feet, offering an expansive canvas for the life you have envisioned. With its 3-car garage and open floor plan, the house exudes a sense of space and freedom that must have seemed like a dream come true. The chef's kitchen, adorned with granite countertops and double ovens, promises countless family gatherings and joyful moments. The gas fireplace in the living room and the walk-in closet in the primary bedroom add to the allure, painting a picture of comfort and luxury. The listing describes with enthusiasm, "Wow, this is a beautiful home. Nothing like this one for sale at this price in the area," making it not only a beautiful space, but also a relatively affordable choice in an area of high value. The grandeur and potential of the home has been enticing, a symbol of stability and success that you hope to build with your family. And yet, this dream home was once the setting of a nightmare. On August 13th, 2018, that very space which might have been filled with the laughter and love of Shanann, her husband Chris Watts, and their 2 daughters turned into a place of horror. The house was the stage for an unfathomable tragedy that shattered their lives. Shanann, who had envisioned this house as a sanctuary for her family, was met with a night of desperation and heartbreak. As the evening unfolded, the home that once represented hope and new beginnings became the backdrop for a chilling confrontation. Shanann's desperation to salvage her marriage and family life reached its peak that night, compounded by the realization that Chris was unfaithful and seeking a separation. The emotional turmoil she faced was immense, and the house that was supposed to be a haven instead became a place of unimaginable suffering. In the mindset of her anguish, Shanann's dreams for the home and her family were brutally overshadowed by the horrific actions of her husband. The contrast between the promise of a beautiful life in your new home and the devastating reality of that fateful night highlights the profound tragedy that the realtor left out of their listing. The house gained infamy as the site of a brutal crime committed by Chris Watts, a former oil field worker. Watts strangled his pregnant wife Shanann during an argument about his affair with Nicole, a colleague who later claimed she believed Watts was separated. Watts then transported Shanann's body to his job site and disposed of it in a shallow grave. His 2 young daughters, Bella, age 4, and Celeste, age 3, were suffocated and their bodies hidden in oil tanks. The heinous nature of these crimes shocked and horrified the public, making the house synonymous with tragedy. The house has undergone a series of price reductions for obvious reasons. Initially listed at $775,000, it eventually dropped to $749,500, with concessions including a $15,000 offer towards a buyer's interest rate buy-down. The property has finally entered pending status, but the dark history remains a significant aspect of its history. The buyer remains anonymous. Chris Watts is currently serving multiple life sentences without the possibility of parole at a correctional facility in Wisconsin. In prison, Watts lives a solitary existence, focusing on reading his Bible and reflecting on his crimes. Sources describe him as having gained weight and lost much of his hair, and he is known to avoid eye contact with other inmates for his own safety. I have never been to prison myself, but sources have also said that both men and women facilities do not play when it comes to criminals who have harmed children. Do you know how evil you have to be in prison and viewed by everyone else as the most evil person in there? A former inmate describes Watts as the lowest of the low, noting that many prisoners harbor a desire for revenge due to the nature of his crimes. In handwritten letters, Watts has expressed remorse and blamed his former mistress, Nicole, for leading him astray. First, Shanann was a problem for being in the way of his mistress, and now his mistress is a problem for being in the way of Shanann. What a twisted mind that must be. He refers to her as a Jezebel, a biblical term for a wicked woman who misleads others. I wonder if he's gotten far enough in the Bible to find the equivalent for a man. Watts' letters reveal his internal struggle and his attempts to reconcile his actions with his faith. In one letter he wrote, "The words of a harlot have brought me low. How did I let this happen? The blessings you have bestowed upon me were right in front of me, and still I followed the perfume of a strange woman." The Lord just sent me a text message and said to tell Chris Watts that now he can wallow in the cologne of demons. He didn't really text me that, but that would have been kind of cool. Watts describes Kessinger as the forbidden fruit, implying that he saw his affair with her as a catalyst for his actions. He claimed that Kessinger told him to choose between her and his family on the night of the murders, suggesting that his decision was influenced by her. I don't remember him speaking like this in the Netflix documentary or in his interrogations. So when did Chris Watts become Father Abraham? Watts has had interactions with other inmates, including Dylan Tallman, who became close to him through Bible study and deep conversations. Tallman, who served time for drug possession and a probation violation, describes Watts as an outcast in prison. Their conversations, detailed in Tallman's book series, The Cell Next Door, explore Watts's reflections of his actions and his spiritual struggles. Dylan does confirm that Chris really does compare Nicole to the biblical queen who led the people astray from God. In the books, Tallman writes that Watts admitted he was stupid for cheating on his wife and sought forgiveness daily for his infidelity. Yeah, just, forget all that other shit. Let's forgive him for the infidelity. Nicole Kessinger, who still resides in Colorado under a different name, has not spoken publicly about her relationship with Watts for several years. Ma'am, you can change your name, but we've seen your face plastered everywhere. Like, you can literally Google your old name and get your current face. Just in case you were unaware of that. The tragic events of August 2018 have left an indelible mark on her life, and she remains a figure of interest in the broader narrative of this case. I can only imagine the marks that are left on Shanann's parents having lost a daughter and 3 grandchildren. Am I the only one who felt like it was all about her, like when the shit unfolded? Like she was trying to get book deals. I think she even Googled, what's his name? Scott Peterson's mistress, like how she got her book deal. Like, come on, girl. It is giving you did not care. Or does she also think that she could change the fact that they revealed her search history? Like, again, you can Google that too, girl. I have so many thoughts to the events that unfolded, like, before he was found guilty, the trial and all of that. It had to be a whole new video if I talk about the actual details of what led up to that night in August. But Nicole's not innocent, but she is not to blame. Let me know in the comments if you want that video. Because, yeah, I can go on. Because, like, even the detective who put in Chris's head about the whole narrative that he walked in on Shanann harming those children, that pissed me off. And I need to research if anything happened to her. I need to know if she was reprimanded. Because you basically gave him an excuse to do what he did. Anywho, the sale of this infamous property marks a new chapter, but the legacy of the crimes committed within its walls continues to resonate. As the house changes hands, the history of Chris Watts and the tragic loss of Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and baby Nico remains a sobering reminder of the consequences of betrayal and violence. So I always thought, unless I just got this information from movies, that all realtors had to disclose if there was a murder in the house. But apparently in Colorado, you do not have to disclose that information. I highly doubt they would put that in the listing. But, like, I don't know, should be a hint, like, Disclaimer, some shit went down before you get your $750,000 together. Anywho, I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. And what do you think about Chris Watts blaming his mistress for his actions? Because I am not buying this holier than thou thing. If she is Queen Jezebel, you are King Ahab. Okay? Like, I think that the majority would agree with me that murdering your entire family, including your unborn son, is worse than sleeping with a married man. At least that sin is more common. Let's keep the discussion alive in the comments. How do you feel about buying a home with a tragic history? Would you consider it or avoid it? And with that, I thank you for joining me on this journey through one of history's darkest moments. Since I saw you last, I've reached my goal of 200 subscribers, and for that I am grateful. I don't think 250 is that far of a stretch by my birthday. So, if you found this video compelling, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to Your Milk and Cereal for more chilling stories. I also post on Mondays, so be sure to hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload then. On Mondays, I post missing person cases, and last week I posted about a son and his mom that is currently missing in Maryland. My subscribers and I noticed that there is hella people missing in Maryland, so on Monday I'll be posting about that, because what's going on in Maryland, okay? Join me down that rabbit hole. Until next time. Self-care and stay safe.